Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 49 of the Horsemen podcast. Yes, we are back yet again, 2 weeks after the last episode, but of course I'm not alone. I'm joined as always by the handsome Artur.
Yellow!
And then by the former lagger, Ricky.
Yellow.
And the always lovely Hannah.
Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren!
Yes! She did it! She did
Perdón. ¿Qué es lo que dijo, señora?
it! Okay. ¿Qué
Ja,
exist?
natürlich.
Thank you guys who are tuning in already on Twitch and YouTube. As, yes, your eyes do not deceive you. We are talking about Slayer. Slayer!
Fucking Slayer!
Slayer!
But before we get started with everything, a couple of notes as far as some future episodes coming up. The next episode, episode 50, we're going to be talking about Judas Priest. And, god damn you, Ricky.
I mean, it's appropriate.
I guess, but still.
Hey, it's been a while since I've done it, so give me...
No, you've done it recently. What are you talking about?
Oh boy,
Anyways.
this is going to kill me.
Anyway.
So,
episode 50 is about Judas Priest songs. Then after that, we're talking top 10 album opening songs, followed by top 10 live albums. And then after that, what we're going to do, starting with episode 53, I'm going to put a YouTube poll up in the community tab for 5 topics. Whatever gets the most votes will be the immediate next episode. Second most will be the next one, so on and so forth. So that way, every one of those topics does get an episode, but it'll be in different orders. However, we got a very secret project involving one particular episode. We're going to tell you, but don't tell anyone else. Shh. One episode, we're doing top 10 80s albums, and we hope to get either Daniel DK or Martin Popoff, but don't tell anyone. Shh.
or Sam Don.
Or, as we say, listen very carefully, I shall say this only once.
But anyways, on to this week's episode, top 10 Slayer songs. And a good place to begin is how we each got into Slayer. For me, very unorthodox. I thank the Jackass show and movies in the beginning for getting me into Slayer because...
Really?
Yeah, because of a couple instances. First, the first Jackass movie, the first skit they did, the Rent-A-Car Crash-Up Derby, had Angel of Death in the background. Jackass number 2, the fish hook scene where Steve-O literally puts a fish hook through his cheek. They're playing the song Spill the Blood in the background. But the big moment that got me into Slayer somewhat early on, an episode of Evil of Bam where Slayer stayed at Bam's house and did a show.
Epic!
That and the episode ended with all of them getting ready to go to bed, and Lombardo's, "Good night, Tom. Good night, Jeff. Good night, Carrie. Good night, Phil. Good night, April. Good night, Bam." And Jeff walks in, "Hey, shut the fuck up. Good night." Funny shit, I know. It's ridiculous. But then when I really got into Slayer, this was around the same time when I was just first getting into more thrash, aside from Metallica and Megadeth and early 90s Pantera. This was around the time I was in middle school, like heading into 8th grade. I was on a trip to the beach one time in North Carolina, had a laptop with me, and was discovering so many things on like YouTube and such. Listened to more Slayer songs. It was great, but I turned away from it for a little while because it literally scared the shit out of me. And it also gave me nightmares for a few days, so I kind of backed away from Slayer for a couple of months, came back in full force.
That's the reaction I got when I started to get when I started to get into Cradle of Filth, because when I saw the From Cradle to Enslave video clip, I could not go near Cradle of Filth, and I had exactly the same reaction as you.
And that was my reaction when I started getting into Venom, because talking about satanic going to hell, it scared me for a bit, but then eventually it came back.
Compare that to From the Cradle to Enslave in video. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, but yeah, I turned away from Slayer for about a month or two, and I came back, still here to this day. And there you go. Hannah, what about you?
Well, I respect Slayer quite a lot, but it's not something that I listen to every day, and therefore I can't really remember when I listened to them the first time. I mean, it must have been somewhere along the way when I started getting into a bit more of the commercial sides of metal, like Metallica and so on, because the extreme sides, that was where I surprisingly started with metal. Apart from Rammstein and so on. So I can't really remember. The first real memory of Slayer that I have is that I was at Wacken in 2014 for the second time, and I was there with a friend, and we were like, well, what shall we see? And it was like, yeah, let's see Apocalyptica. And we were in the front row for Apocalyptica. And then, I mean, the concert was pretty good. And we looked up the schedule, which bands were still to come, and it was like, well, Slayer is next. Let's stay. And we were in the fourth row, and I mean, I was not so much scared of the music, but scared of the crowd because everybody kept pushing, and I mean, the concert was okay, but it didn't really get me into Slayer. I saw them like 2 years later at
Oh boy.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Oh,
There you go.
Hello, Germany.
Oh, my connection was screwed up. I mean, 2 years later, I saw them again, and this time it was much better. I have to say I enjoy Slayer live, but I don't really listen to them daily or even less frequently. They're not really much on my radar because it's simply not the music that I enjoy when I have the chance to decide what I want to listen. Because, I mean, for me, it's not really interesting music. I prefer other stuff, but I still respect the hell out of Slayer. Yeah. And I can't really remember what got me into them.
And also another quick note I completely forgot about. I listened to Slayer so much during high school that I don't even really listen to much of them anymore because it's all imprinted into my brain at this point. Kind of the same with so many other bands. But Ricky, what about you?
So with Slayer, it's kind of... I actually don't remember how I got into Slayer, but I guess if I could pinpoint a time, was when I was getting to more thrash metal side. And of course, bands like Metallica, Anthrax, Megadeth, I always liked them. But with Slayer, the difference between all those three bands is that of all the big four, they're the most extreme band of all of them.
Yes.
I mean, to pinpoint a lot of guys like Chuck, a lot of guys like Jeff, pinpointed to Slayer being one of their influence, but which only inspired the whole extreme metal scene. Mostly Slayer because of their imagery, I guess you can see where Nurgle got a lot of inspiration from Slayer. But I mean, Slayer is one of those bands that I unfortunately had the opportunity to see them live once, but because of work, I couldn't see them. And I mentioned this before we started. I do see them pulling up a Kiss, maybe in a couple of years doing like a one-off tour, or maybe releasing an album. I would really love that. I can at least say I saw Slayer once, but to answer the where I got into Slayer, it must have been when I got into Metallica. And of course, when you get into Metallica, you think of the other bands. But you know, I've always liked Slayer. You know, they've always have a respect, especially when you first get into them. I mean, sure, they kind of scare you a bit because It's
Especially
too
when you're an
fast.
impressionable early teenager, like I was.
Because if you listen to Slayer before you listen to any more extreme metal bands, you're gonna be like, this is like the heaviest, fastest shit I've ever heard. Especially with the lyrics talking about murders and ripping dead corpses out of angels and all the good stuff.
Yeah. And like you said, being influential in extreme metal, without Slayer, no black metal, no death metal, no grindcore. They were the pillar for pretty much everything that followed. All right, Artur.
The first time I got into Slayer was when I started to hang out at rock clubs, metal clubs that we had here in Portugal. And all of a sudden, I started to hear na 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 da 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 na 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 da da da. And before I even knew what that was, I was already moshing with some of the other guys from the club. And then when I got the chance to talk with my friends that I was making that back then, which was this about 12 years ago, more or less, they told me that this was Slayer, and I was still very much an outcast. I was starting to get into more the brutal side of metal, since I was still very much into the new wave of British heavy metal and power metal. And that was when I started to get into Slayer, and then I saw the album.
Oh.
Again, technical difficulties. This show wouldn't be what it is without it. Continue.
Then shut down in flames. Down in flames.
Anyways, continue.
But I was saying that thanks to those rock clubs, I started to get into Slayer and some of the other genres in metal. But I would like to share two memories that I have from all the 3 times that I saw Slayer live here. I lied. I saw once in a Hellfest, and I saw twice here in Portugal. The first time that I saw in Portugal was in 2017 in July. And we talked about this before the show when I told you about the set list. One of those during the song Black Magic, all of a sudden, the lights went out. But the sound was still going on. Slayer was still playing. And we would hear the sound, but the lights, they were down. All of a sudden, all the crowd with their cell phones, they were putting up their flashlights. They were aiming at as they were still playing Black Magic. It was one of the epic moments of the show. Even Paul Bostaph posted on his Twitter page or on his Facebook, I don't remember, saying, "This is fucking sick. Great job, Portugal." If you checked some of his Twitter feeds in 2017, there's the moment. And the last was, I was fortunate enough to see one of Slayer's last shows ever back in 2019 when they came to Portugal again. And after the last song, which was Angel of Death, which will be in most of our lists, I'm guessing, Tom was the only one that was left standing. Oh, Gary was also there, Gary Holt. But Tom was the one that was there. He was crying on stage. He could not believe how the Portuguese crowd, which I'm guessing would be part of the same for most crowds, they were giving him so much love. They were shouting Slayer. They were shouting Tom, Tom, Tom. Even Gary Holt and Paul Bostaph, they went there to see what the hell was going on. And Tom was nearly crying because he came to the realization that they were going to retire. But those are some of the more impressive memories that I have. Not to mention the brutality of the shows that were, as well as the songs. I mean, those were memories that stuck forever in my memory.
Well, with all that said and done, let's get into our list, starting with honorable mentions. Now, I got 10 honorable mentions to start things off.
Damn.
Yeah, because this I actually kind of put this list together last minute because it was like, how in the fuck am I going to come up with a list like this? But then I started realizing, it's relatively easy for me. So, the 10 honorable mentions, kicking things off with one of the most underrated songs in Slayer history, Live Undead off of South of Heaven.
Ooh,
I really love the drumming on that song so much. And then again, because I'm a drum guy, and Dave Lombardo, the greatest drummer in metal history, just going...
Debatable.
Going crazy on the kicks. Like, even on the slower parts, he's playing double bass really fast. It's like the first half's kind of like almost like a Doom song. Then the second half, it gets typical Slayer thrash. And also, this was a song I like to air drum a lot or play with like rolled up papers on the back seats of school buses that just annoy everybody to death. And I was like, fuck you, I don't give a shit. So, yeah. The next one, another underrated gem from perhaps their most underrated album that people need to give more attention to. At Dawn They Sleep.
Here we go.
Compose myself. Blah, blah, blah. At Dawn They Sleep from Hell Awaits, which is one of their longer songs. It's over 6 minutes long, but it's just, and I love the section in the song where it slows down a little bit and you get the beware, beware, beware. And you get like almost like death metal vocals in the background too. And yeah, it's like the first half it's more speed metal, mid-pace stuff, and then it gets fast and furious towards the end. Next up, Die by the Sword off of Show No Mercy.
Yep.
Really, really cool song, and I like how it's more or less just like a traditional speed metal track, kind of like in line with Exciter and that time Motorhead. It kind of fits in line with that kind of style.
Razor.
And early Razor, yeah. And I like how one funny memory with this song, I remember watching the Tenacious D movie, and somebody took this song and put it on top of a clip of Kyle Gass playing the guitar in the beginning of the movie. It was like, what? But it was kind of funny. Next up, I can't deny this song, even though it's on the worst album they did, Stain of Mind. I do think this is like
it's the only saving grace of Diablos.
Exactly.
And the cover.
But this song, I really like.
They're better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is the one song off of the worst album they ever did that's worth a damn. It's got a nice groove to it, some interesting vocal patterns, and a good solo. Even though they were going new metal, like Limp Bizkit and Korn at the time, they still kept solos on top, which was fair, but still, why did they have to make this album? But thank God for this song. Next up, oh, Ricky, you might be kicking me in the ass for this one. From God Hates Us All, Payback.
Ooh.
The closing song of that album. Probably the most brutal song on that album. Mm-hmm. So thrashy. And of course, the classic line, "Payback's a bitch, motherfucker!" before it gets into the breakdown, which was really cool. Funny enough, I got into this song thanks to the YouTuber Andreas Bomo, I forget his last name, Italian guitarist who does like 25 or 50 riffs of a certain band, and he did one for Rammstein. I know. And even got to play for Rammstein's release party for their last album. So that's how I got into this song. And then when I listened to the song, I was like, good Lord, what is happening here? Like, I knew it was Slayer,
but Slayer?
Yeah, this almost felt like a song you could have heard from a band like Massacre or something like that. Like, it was very much in that vein. Next up, in my opinion, the most underrated Slayer song, Crypts of Eternity from Hell Awaits. Their longest song at almost 7 minutes, and it is just all over the place. Nice double kick with a gallop at the beginning, and then it gets a little doomy, and then you get some like more chromatic riffs, and just drums everywhere. Drums, drums, drums. Riffs, riffs, riffs. Solos, solos. Crazy vocals. People need to give this song a listen if you haven't heard it already. Next up, from Seasons in the Abyss, Spirit in Black.
I have another one of Seasons in the Abyss in my honorable mentions.
And this was another thing I forgot about when talking about how I got into Slayer and Jackass. This song was played at one point in the background during the Gumball Rally episode when they were in Poland, I believe. And this song was playing. So that's how I first heard this song. And this is another one of those underrated gems. Even though it gets played pretty often from time to time, I feel like it doesn't get nearly as much love as some of the other songs on the album. Next up, from Rain and Blood, Altar of Sacrifice.
Yes!
I forgot that song.
Arguably the most satanic song Slayer ever did. Arguably. There are plenty of Slayer songs that could fit this mold, but Altar of Sacrifice... Ooh, you want to talk about some directly satanic lyrics and then just so vicious and a visceral onslaught is what I would call this song. And I like how it slows down like as if the tape is slowing down at the end, and then it leads into the song Jesus Saves. Next up, the final two songs, both from South of Heaven. First, Ghosts of War. Probably the most thrashy song on the album of South of Heaven, because South of Heaven they try to incorporate a little more slower songs because they didn't want
more melody
and a little more melody too. But this was like the one song that could have fitted in line on Rain and Blood, and it would have been perfect because this song was balls to the wall, brutal. And also, Hatebreed did an amazing cover of this song in 2009. Even a crazy music video attached to it. But yeah, this song, highly recommend. And then finally, I talked about it before when I said Jackass 2, Spill the Blood. One of the few Slayer songs with clean guitars in the beginning. That... I love that beginning. I actually could play that on acoustic. Not very well, but I try. But yeah, and of course another one of the more slower.
As I said once, I can play Freezing Moon on the drums. I never said I could play it well.
Right. But yeah, those are my 10 honorable mentions. Artur.
Well, I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I actually have 7. Which I'm going to start, and I know that Levi has this on his list. Haunting the Chapel. The song Haunting the Chapel.
Forgot about that one.
I forgot about that one.
I mean, the EP is great, even though that it has only 4 songs. But Haunting the Chapel was just too, how can I put it, obvious not to put in here. I also have The Antichrist from the Show No Mercy.
Forgot about that one too.
From the Show No Mercy album, which is Ricky's number 4.
Oh,
he's showing that right now. I mean, Show No Mercy has another song that it will be very high on my list, and especially after the story that I just shared. But Antichrist is just another beast of a song.
Christ,
Levi, you told me about the Seasons in the Abyss album, which is one of my favorites. But you forgot one song, Skeletons of Society. One of the more melodic songs that Slayer has, and to me, one that could have been on my list, but just couldn't. Evil Has No Boundaries is also on my list as well. Another one that I have hit here from possibly my most underappreciated album on the Slayer discography, Divine Intervention, Ditto Hats. I mean, that song. That song is just so weird, but at the same time so underrated. I mean, it's not even one of their more requested songs, but it's still there. And the last two, it's from Repentless. But it's because most of those memories. I've put the Repentless song because on a live setting, Repentless is a beast of a song. And this one I've put here as more of a tribute because, as we all know, the original lineup of Slayer was Jeff Hanneman, Kerry King, Tom Araya, and Dave Lombardo. But unfortunately, we lost Jeff Hanneman due to poisoning from a tour that he did. So I actually decided to put here his last song that he ever wrote, Piano Wire, which was also part of Repentless. And from what they say, is actually one of their strongest songs in Repentless. So those are my honorable mentions.
Ricky?
Well, I have 4 honorable mentions. First of all, one of the most underrated songs from Rain in Blood, Postmortem.
Oh
yeah.
I mean, I don't know why about that song the name Postmortem just like catches you because of course postmortem is after you're dead, so you know all that crazy stuff.
Yep.
I also have Repentless. I've seen some videos live of Repentless, and what the hell? It's like one of the biggest bangers you can listen to. When this song came up from the new album, I was like, oh my god, this is so good. It's like classic Slayer. That was like, oh,
and Metallica, that's how you do a riot in prison.
Yes, that's it. And I listened, and I remember when the song came out, I listened to that song so much that I got sick of it for a while, and then the album came out, and I was like, okay, I love it again. I have Chemical Warfare from Haunted the Chapel.
Oh, fuck off.
I mean, it was a tough list. I mean, I had to make some tough decisions.
My mistake. I put it as an impromptu honorable mention, but I don't have it here on my list.
And last but not least...
And here's the thing. My sister has the video game Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, which features Chemical Warfare. And even she, who likes Guitar Hero very much, and she got into Slayer because of that, although she doesn't listen that much, she even says that song will break her fingers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
I have
last
that
but not least, Jihad.
Oh!
For the simple fact
impromptu honorable mention? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In one take alone, it was just like perfect, and this was during 2006. So it was around, that era, and in the Middle East, what was going on, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, those are my honorable mentions.
And now Hannah.
Well, I also have Postmortem on my honorable mention. I just think it's an awesome song and perfectly leads into Rain in Blood. Rain in Blood, the song that follows on Rain in Blood. Then I also have Die by My Sword of Show No Mercy. I think there is...
Die by the Sword, yeah.
Yeah. I think there is another song of that album that I enjoy more than Die by My Sword. And therefore, it only made it on the honorable mention list. Then I've got Mandatory Suicide.
Hell.
My number 10.
My number 8.
So I basically got all of you. I mean, I like that song, but I think there are, at least for me, there are songs that I enjoy more than this one. And I'm sure you will talk more about it. And lastly, I have Blood Red of Seasons in the Abyss.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I mean, Seasons in the Abyss. If I had to name my favorite Slayer album, this would probably be it. Yeah, and I like most of the songs out of this one, especially Blood Red and a few other songs that I will talk about later. Yeah, those. I think that's the first time that I only had 4 honorable mentions. This is crazy.
At least under 5.
Yeah.
At least under 5.
Alrighty, well, with all that said and done, now time for the nitty-gritty, the top 10, and I shall kick things off. Number 10, From Haunting the Chapel, Chemical Warfare. I mean, another one of their longer tracks. Fun fact about this song, when they went to record it, they had no carpet for the drums. So Gene Hoglan, who was hanging out with them at the time, had to hold Lombardo's kit into place when he was doing the crazy double bass stuff. Because the kicks would have just scooted out of the way and it would have messed the whole take up. So Hoglan literally had to stand there and hold the damn kit together.
So you can thank Gene Hoglan for that song.
Yeah, thank you, Gene Hoglan, who also did background vocals in Evil Has No Boundaries as well. And he was only like 15, 16 at the time. So...
Wasn't he still in Dark Angel?
Yeah. Which I'm getting 3 Dark Angel albums soon. But anyways, so... My number 10, Chemical Warfare. Yeah, like Artur said on Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, definitely break your fingers. Even on medium difficulty, it breaks my fingers.
I also... And... this was... but this is back to the old format. Why don't you say your top 10?
Yeah, that's what... No, I was saying... I was saying Artur about the game. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Alright, so number 9... 999! Of course, from South of Heaven, Mandatory Suicide. Yeah, Hannah spoiled it.
My number 10.
But yeah, that opening riff, one of the best riffs Slayer ever wrote. And of course, when...
What?
Oh, it looked like Artur, you wanted to say something.
No.
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 But anyways...
Not yet, at least.
Yeah, but... And then you get to the second half of the song where you get that, like, spoken word in the background from Tom. It's like, ooh, this is freaky shit. And also, Decapitated did an amazing cover of the song. Maybe the best cover of a Slayer song of all time.
Isn't also on Mandatory Suicide that he starts, Suicide.
Yep.
Suicide. And then he starts a hell of a shout afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw that live on their last day, I mean, they had all the pyro and all that stuff, but with the pyro just went ballistic. I mean, when he was shouted and the flames were coming out, it was like going to hell, literally.
Yeah. They were shouting down in flames.
That's AC/DC.
Hey, it's still happening. So. Anyways.
But anyways, so now... Oh, wait. For my number 8.
Number 8. Here we go.
That tasted like bacon.
Chocolate milk.
No, I did not have that today. That was yesterday. Anyways, so my number 8... I feel like some people might have this song higher on the list, but from Seasons in the Abyss, Dead Skin Mask. Oh, I got Hannah's number 1!
It's my number 5.
My number 10. My number 10.
But I mean, if there was ever, like going back to the point I was making earlier about how Slayer almost single-handedly influenced death metal, particularly thanks to albums like Hell Awaits and Rain and Blood, if there was a song that was the closest they got to death metal, it's this one. It's like, musically, it fits in line. The only difference being Tom's vocals, of course. But like lyrical content, it's scary, it's horrific.
I mean, even you could say it as a form of poetry. Dance with the dead in my dreams, listen to their hollow screams. The devil has taken my soul, temptation has lost all control.
Yeah. And of course, this song spawned quite a few covers. Like, Unanimated did a cover of this, but probably my favorite cover of this, Dark Funeral doing this, too. Yes, and Scott, thank you for being in the chat saying, yes, Tom is not a fan of the Cookie Monster vocals. Which that's unfortunately true, because if Tom did like him more, I bet you he would have went down that route and Slayer would have been a death metal band, but...
Yeah. We'll
Oh well. But yeah, Dead Skin Mask, of course, riffs beyond riffs beyond riffs. And even that part towards the end where you hear the little girl screaming in agony, which was pretty creepy.
Disturbing.
Yep.
And it was based on a true story by Ed Gein of all people.
Psycho!
Anyways, moving into number 7, the one song on my actual list from Show No Mercy, Black Magic.
It's my number 7 too.
My number 6. It's my number 6.
Number 5 for Hannah. But yeah, Black Magic. This was one of the first Slayer songs I dove into heavily. And, I mean, then again, this song as well as the whole album, you could argue is like a proto-black metal album because it has that kind of spirit on top. And this song certainly would... I would compare Black Magic, the song, to something from the first Bathory album, from the first...
I mean, the first Black Magic is also a bit of a speed metal influence if you think about it. I mean, the entire album
is more speed metal than thrash.
Bit of Venom.
Yeah, a bit of Venom, and yeah, it's like Iron Maiden mixed with Venom is what like Black Magic was, because you get a little bit of that like Iron Maiden guitar vibe, but with that more raw sound.
Yeah, and put in some very unpolished production as well.
Not to mention another fun fact, not only with the song but with the album, there was when they were recording this album, they had to dampen the cymbals because they were very loud when they were recording the drums for the album. And you could hear it on, like, even on Black Magic, that you could hear parts where Dave's a little late on certain cymbal hits because he's trying to overdub some of the stuff because of how they were very bright in the studio.
Oh, breaking news. Well, this is good news. Slayer just released the Human Harvest music video.
No, that's Cannibal Corpse.
Why did I say that? Cannibal Corpse.
Oh boy!
Why did I? Too many bands.
I know Scott. I know Scott and I are. Hang on. Meep. Earth, Ricky, get your intelligence level higher. I'm hitting the up button. Anyways, back on track. Moving on to number 6, also from Seasons in the Abyss, the title track.
My number 2.
My number 5.
It's going to be obvious which is going to be number 1 in most of our lists. I'm guessing.
It's starting to look like that. But anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, the title track, another one of the longer songs Slayer ever did. And it's a classic. Like, it's like the first half is like... Or not the first half. Like, the first minute and a half or so is closer to like a Doom song. Like, it's slow and it's epic. It builds up. It builds up before you get into the Iron Maiden style gallop that the song goes throughout. And... my favorite part of this song, the dueling solos from Carrie and Jeff. Carrie starting it off, and then Jeff finishing off with the classic finger tapping technique. Thank you, Steve Hackett from Genesis, for creating it. And yeah, it's an epic song, and it's awesome that they still kept playing it live till they stopped.
Yep.
Now into the top 5. I got a feeling I'm going to kill Artur with this one. Number 5, South of Heaven.
It's number also 6. My number 5. It's my only tie. It's my only tie on this list because in my number 5, it's my only tie because in the same way that I could not do this list without South of Heaven, I could not do this list also with Dead Skin Mask, which is why it's my only tie on this list. So, you haven't killed me yet. Although, I'm gonna rant about South of Heaven, and you know what it is.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, the song South of Heaven, that classic riff. One of the... Even though I know what Artur's going to say about it, but it's still one of the most recognizable metal moments ever. And I love the build-up. And then, of course, the classic line, "Before you see the light, you must die!" And then it just goes insane after that. And this was one of those songs that legitimately terrified me when I was first getting into Slayer as a teenager. It literally scared the shit out of me, and it was partially the reason why I turned away from Slayer for like a month or two, was this song. But anyways, number 4. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy! Number 4! It's Raining Blood.
What?
It's my number 3. It's my number 3.
Ah, I knew I was gonna get Ricky. I knew I was gonna get Ricky with that.
Then I'm sure that me and Levi were gonna have the same number 1.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm almost sure.
Yep. But yeah, Raining Blood. What else can I say about this song that hasn't been said already? I first heard this thanks to Guitar Hero 3. It was a finger breaker, and then I listened to the song. It's like
on a list that included Number of the Beast, and
Cliffs of Dover by who the hell was that guitar player? Yeah, Cliffs of Dover and Metallica 1 as well.
Yeah,
in the same section. But yeah, I mean, Raining Blood. And also, just to go to show you how much of a cultural phenomenon the song had become, they used it on South Park as a way to get rid of hippies.
Yes!
And
yes,
it's not death, and it's not death metal.
Even though it's close, but it's not quite close. There.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
Not yet.
Oh. No, she's back.
Anyways, though.
Anyway.
But yeah, my number 4, Raining Blood. Number 3, my favorite song off of Seasons in the Abyss, War Ensemble.
It's on my list, and it's my number 7.
Number 10 for Hannah.
Number 10.
But yeah, War Ensemble, another classic song. And the first time I heard it was on that Viva La Bam episode when Slayer stayed at Bam's house, because they played it live in Bam's backyard at a party they had in their pirate bar.
Epic.
Which was fucking awesome. And Don Vito, may he rest in peace, they put him up on the stage after the song was done, and they were chanting, and the people in the crowd are chanting, "Vito, Vito," which was really fucking awesome. But yeah, the song itself, thrashy, unrelenting, and even As I Lay Dying did a really good version of this song too, with Tim going death metal at times on certain parts of the song, and they stuck true to it, so I appreciate them for doing it. But yeah, War Ensemble, my number 3. My number 2, Hell Awaits.
It's my number 4.
Number 3. I said before, out of all the Slayer albums, this one's my personal favorite. It's the fast... Well, Rain and Blood's a little bit faster, but in terms of diverse songwriting, this, in my opinion, was their best in terms of diversity in the songwriting. You know, it's proggy almost. It's like long songs, and of course, Hell Awaits, you start off with the backwards messages with that guitar wailing in the background.
Hell Awaits is my number 4.
With the wailing guitar in the background, and then it chugs along.
And even the intro riff.
I love that. I love that.
That those first 2 minutes.
It's a great build-up.
Not with the chat. Absolutely,
it's a great build-up.
I once imagined many years ago that when I was big into wrestling, coming out with that first 2 minutes of Hell Awaits as my entrance theme.
And as much as I love that part, it spawned so many imitators. Like, Prong did it on the song Lost and Found. They did basically the same riff and the drum pattern, the double kick with the toms. Even Sacred Right kind of did, but slower on their last album. Like, this part spawned so many people to copy it in later albums for different bands. Like, Prong did it, Sacred Right did it. It's that influential of a part, I guess, that it spawned all this to happen. And then, of course, the second half, all-out thrash, and even Tom, even though you say you don't like the Cookie Monster vocals, you did it on this song. You did them on this song. So there you have it with that. So my number 2, Hell Awaits. But my number 1, there could only be one! Angel of Death.
Which is also my number 1.
Bring for me, Tom.
No, you go straight for the jugular. Auschwitz, the meaning of pain, the way that I want you to die.
Slow death, immense decay.
It's my number 2.
And Scott said that would be his number 1 as well, Angel of Death. I mean, so much to the song. The riffs. The fucking riffs, the breakdowns, the insane ultra-fast solos, the double kicks from Lombardo. The scream at the beginning. Arguably one of the top 5 most iconic screams in metal history. I'm going to try my best to do it.
One of the most extreme.
No, don't do it! Don't!
I can't transition it to the lower end.
There is a reason why for over, 5 years or 6, every time they played Angel of Death, Tom could not scream.
Yeah, he couldn't quite replicate it. And this was the first take, and they tried multiple takes, and he just couldn't do it. He just couldn't quite make it. But yeah, so that was my top 10 recap. Chemical Warfare at 10, 9 Mandatory Suicide, 8 Dead Skin Mask, 7 Black Magic, 6 Seasons in the Abyss, 5 South of Heaven, 4 Raining Blood, 3 War Ensemble, 2 Hell Awaits, 1 Angel of Death. Hannah, the floor is yours.
Well, kick off my list with War Ensemble. Out of Seasons in the Abyss, my favorite Slayer album. I just think that Tom Araya's vocals on this track are amazing, and this is a killer live track. And when I
also Call for War,
exactly that one, and it's just amazing to experience that one live. And
yes.
I
yes,
mean,
it is.
there are many amazing live songs by Slayer, but this is certainly one of them. Next one, on my number 9, I have Chemical Warfare out of Haunting the Chapel. It's just the central track and the crown jewel of this EP, and it has aged well, in my opinion. And out of the earlier Slayer works, one of my favorite tracks to listen to. Well, on to number 8, a bit lower on my list, Hell Awaits. Just an amazing intro, and the whole song progression is fucking fantastic. Despite it almost being something like an instrumental. I really like the song, but Hell Awaits has never been amongst my favorite Slayer albums. I don't know, I just prefer other albums. Like Seasons in the Abyss, the title track on number 7. I just love this extended intro on this track, just to build up, and it's a bit slow. It's a bit slower than the usual Slayer song. At times, sometimes even has this kind of doomy feel to it. A really interesting song, especially in comparison to the remainder of Slayer's discography. But certainly an awesome album closer, and one hell of a track to end this fantastic album. Number 6, I have South of Heaven. Just one of my favorite live Slayer tracks. The riffing in this kind of evil riff at the intro. It's just I really like this one. Again, great live track. Number 4, the earliest or the oldest Slayer song I have on my list, Black Magic. I mean, it's just so fucking evil and influenced so many subgenres of metal that would develop later alongside with the work of Venom and early Bathory. I mean, without this song, I don't know if black metal, if death metal, if grindcore and so on would be the same as it is today. This and this subject matter, this song introduced into the realms of metal. I mean, it had been done before, talking about this esoterical stuff and dark magic and so on.
Black Sabbath, Coven.
Yeah,
Black Sabbath.
Yeah, but
Coven.
Yeah, of course, bands have done it before, but to combine it with this kind of extreme music, that was, in my opinion, something new. I mean, Venom did it too, but I mean, if you take early Venom and early Slayer, I think this one is a bit harder, a bit darker than even Venom, and certainly
faster.
And
faster,
and faster, of course. And I mean, Tom Araya's vocals are fucking evil on this one, and it's just great the way it is, the raw production and everything comes together. Great song. Number from the oldest to the newest song on my list. Number 4, Disciple. Just
number 9.
It's my number 8. It's my number 8.
I mean, it's a bit higher on my list. I just this was probably one of the first Slayer songs I ever listened to, alongside with Raining Blood, if I remember correctly, which is always a bit difficult with me and Slayer. But this is just the line alone with "God hates us all" is fucking iconic. And just screaming at the top of your lungs during a live show, is the feeling you get and the energy that is pulsing in the concert hall is just, I mean, it's a lovely song, and then a bit of moshing here and there to this song, just fantastic to experience that one live. And the subject matter, in my opinion, is really interesting, and the way they did it, probably. I mean, it has to be the crown jewel of this album. And I mean, I'm not so much into the newer Slayer stuff. This is probably the only song I listened to post 2000. But what a song. And then number 3, probably one of the most well-known Slayer songs, Raining Blood. It's just an infernal symphony. The intro, the way it builds up and then everything comes together, it comes crashing down when the vocals set in. The songwriting, it's certainly not conventional. There isn't really a chorus, and I really like that. If music manages to surprise me with structures that are not your typical radio-friendly song formula. And this is certainly one of those that break the system, break the formula, and it has been covered so many times. It's iconic as fuck, but it's a good song, and it didn't get old. It aged really well in comparison to other songs by other bands. I mean, Enter Sandman did not age well, in my opinion. It just overplayed, but that's my opinion. And Raining Blood isn't, at least for me. And I still like it, and that's why it's on number 3. Number 2, probably the most evil song Slayer has ever written, Angel of Death. Especially concerning the subject matter of this song. I mean, of course, Tom Araya's vocals on this one and this scream is fucking insane, especially when you pair it up with Wham's last
Oh no.
This
Wait,
is
what?
just such a great. They mashed it up with Wham's Last
Oh,
Christmas, and the
I think
funny
Scott
thing
did a
is,
reaction to
no.
that
and the
too.
funny thing is, it actually works, and that's the crazy thing. Whoever came up with this idea to put those two together is a fucking genius.
Is it the same
But-
guy who did the play that funky music Rammstein?
I think
DJ
yeah.
Cumberbund.
It's just insane. But back to the subject matter. I mean, to write a song or to tell a story out of the perspective of Josef Mengele, the evil German doctor who conducted all those horrific experiments at Auschwitz, the concentration camp. That's fucking evil, and the way they did it, well, it's certainly the way it talks about this experiment without anesthesia and so on is very disturbing in my opinion. But well, metal is also about the disturbing sides of humanity, certainly.
Yep.
And it's a fucking fantastic song. And one of the things I enjoy about metal the most, it isn't so much about love and relationships and let's have a party. I mean, it talks about history. It talks about history. It talks about humanity, philosophy, religion, everything. There isn't really a taboo subject in metal, and that's the great thing about it. And this song certainly showcased that metal isn't all bees and and so on.
Isn't all birds and bees
and whatever and parties and yeah. And but onto my number one. I had to put it here. It's the song. It's the Slayer song. I mean, if there is one Slayer song that I listen to relatively often, it's Dead Skin Mask. It's I just love it. It's catchy as fuck. The themes of horror on this one and the way the lyrics flow, I really like it. It's almost poetic when talking about horror movies and so on.
Ed Gein, get the barbecue. We're gonna have ourselves a good old
Oh boy!
Oh jeez. And Hannah's got the sauce for it too.
Yeah, and in my opinion, it's fucking catchy. The kind of chorus-like thing it has with the dance with the dead in my dreams. I mean, I can listen to it every time. I just really like it. It's a fucking fantastic song and my favorite song out of Seasons in the Abyss. And that's why it's on my number one.
All right, Ricky, what you got?
Well, my number 10, Dead Skin Mask. You know I was gonna have this
alongside
song.
A serving of this.
Yes,
Here we go.
I mean, when you have a song to talk about a murder, an actual well-known murder, and being I'm the horror guy, you know I was gonna have it on the list. Which is funny that Slayer never did a song. Maybe I could be wrong about like people like Richard Ramirez, Charles Manson. Which it would have been Charles Manson. It would be like
Jack the Ripper.
I think they've done Jack the Ripper. I could be wrong. But with Ed Gein, it was one of those. I mean, of course, Ed Gein inspired the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But this song, at first, it creeped me the hell out, especially the ending of the little girl. Like, please, Mr. Gein, I want to go. Let me free. Let me free. It just creeped me the hell out. And especially with, like I said, with Ed Gein being this crazy, cannibalistic psychopath. Just adds more to the depth of the story. My number 9, from Scott Itasaw, Disciple.
It's also my number 9. No, it's my number 8.
It is my favorite.
My number 9 is probably my most unknown song of the list.
It is my favorite song from this album, especially that chorus. God hates us all. God hates us all. To the point that I think Kerry King has a tattoo on his arm. God hates us all, which would piss a lot of people. Which good for you, Kerry King. My number 8.
You know I had to.
Yes, I know. My number 8, Mandatory Suicide. I get one of those slower song that starts a bit kind of like, where is this going? And then the build up to it just gets better and better, especially that little mid section in the song. Just, oh god, I love it so much. Number 7, Black Magic.
Oh, of course.
For a while, when I got into more Slayer, this song was just kept on rotation for a long time. That when sometimes I'm in my pissy mood, because we all have those pissy moments, I put this song on high up on my radio, on my stereo, and just sing to it, like let all that anger out of me. Because it's a great song to listen to, especially it inspired Black Magic, Venom, Bassery, early Death, Sodom. And all that. Early Sodom, yeah. My number 6, the number of the beast, South of Heaven. One of the most iconic guitar riffs Slayer's ever done. I just love that guitar solo. That iconic, one of the best guitar riffs in metal history in general. Great song. Number 5, Seasons in the Abyss. And like Hannah brought this up, which kind of now I'm into it. Like it's a bit more slower, a bit doomier. The slowness a bit slow, and then of course you get Tom's vocals and just great song. And it was Slayer's first music video, you believe it or not. Mm-hmm. Long into their career, they had a music video which was in, like I said, early 90s,
1990. And it's one of the best music videos in metal too, I would say.
Especially being like the pyramids in the back in Egypt and all that.
The Sphinx.
The Sphinx. It's a pretty good song. My number 4, The Antichrist. One of the most influential songs of Slayer's history. One of the most evil songs they've ever done. Speed metal song, which influenced again bands like Bassery, Venom, and I mean, I am the Antichrist. That's what I'm here to do. I mean, come on, it inspires so many great lyrics, so many bands that it's one of the greatest Slayer songs ever to be created.
Dissection even covered it too.
Mm-hmm. My number 3, Hell Awaits. Now, with Hell Awaits, it's a bit of a story because when I first listened to the song, I was afraid because of the intro. Mm-hmm. I was like, am I actually gonna go to hell for listening to this? Because it sounds like I'm literally going to hell for that.
And even funny story, even like the first 3 releases, Show No Mercy, On the Chapel, and Hell Awaits, when they had engineer and producer Bill Matoyer, even he jokingly said, I'm going to hell for making this.
Yeah, and this is a song that I would think if you were actually going to hell,
and
this will be the song you're actually going to go with it.
And I know that in Hell Awaits, they do this sort of a satanic chant, but
Join
the more I start
backwards.
to listen... Yes, but if I didn't know that it was Join Us backwards, I thought that he was telling, almost in Portuguese, 100 euros, which is basically 100 euros.
I thought it was saying Sacred Heart, Sacred Heart, Sacred Heart, Sacred Heart. That's what I thought I was saying. I didn't know it was backwards until like years later.
Same.
But again, it's one of those songs that, like Artur said, if a wrestler were to come into that song, just a dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
even
dun,
that
dun,
first
dun,
part
dun,
when
dun,
the guitar hits the down.
Yeah.
Da, da, da.
So Addis to like, please come up to that song, please. My number 2, Angel of Death. Brutality at its finest. And I said it before, Tom Araya screaming feels like you're grabbing him by the balls and squeezing him so he can get that perfect pitch. Till this day, no one has been come close and getting that high of a pitch. So many have duplicated, but never come close to Tom Araya. And of course, it's about the freaking Angel of Death, Joseph Mengele, which a lot of people don't actually know about the Doctor. So like nerd buffs like us know. I'm like, oh, they're talking about Joseph Mengele. But if you put it to someone who doesn't know, they're like, Angel of Death could also be the actual Angel of Death, Astriel. So it's
or something, or which is now considered in medical terms euthanasia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I have no doubt that eventually when we do top 10 most brutal metal songs, this will definitely be on everybody's list, I feel like.
Angel of
No
Death
question.
is on there.
But my number one, Raining Blood. If you're talking about the memes, have you seen the memes of the whole this is 000? That's why, because it's Raining Blood. I mean, one of the most iconic metal songs of all time, one of the greatest metal songs of all time. You cannot go to a Slayer show and not play Raining Blood. It's like if Metallica doesn't play Master of Puppets.
Yeah.
So iconic, so good. All hell Slayer, all hell Jeff.
May he rest in peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Artur. Floor is yours.
Okay, just a moment because I need a bit of light since it's now starting to nightfall here.
Nightfall in Middle-earth?
My number 10, in a way, has already been very much spoiled. It's Mandatory Suicide from the South of Heaven album. I mean, if there's one thing that Slayer is great at, is as a live band. I mean, especially with all the pyro that they bring, the flames and such. I mean, the whole package is just great. And Mandatory Suicide, as Ricky said, may start slow, but then once you get to those to the midsection and you start to hear Tom Araya saying suicide, and then all of a sudden he just bursts into a scream. You go, what the hell? And it's still one of the more iconic songs besides my number 5, South of Heaven. But number 8, and it's one of the songs that, besides that, got me into Slayer. There has been no other video game that has done more to push metal music than Doom, especially the original ones in PC, when Bobby Prince decided to cover a lot of songs, and one of them is probably my most underrated song on South of Heaven, once again, which was part of the original Doom back in 1995, if I'm not mistaken. They covered Behind the Crooked Cross. I mean, that whole riff. I mean, Behind the Crooked Cross, especially after once they did that cover. I mean, I didn't know what Slayer... I was starting to get to know Slayer, but I was only stuck in Raining Blood, Angel of Death, and all that stuff. But once I replayed Doom years after it came out, and I started to hear and I knew that it was from Behind the Crooked Cross, I was going, whoa, this is amazing. And it's my number 9. Number 8, so to say. I only need to say 4 words. God hates us all. Disciple. I mean, you cannot say that when Tom Araya says, God hates us all, you don't want to shout out as well. And especially with Disciple, I mean, even the album is called God Hates Us All. And I can say that there's another, although it's more melodic song, but Bloodlines, I kind of enjoyed
that one too.
The Bloodlines.
Impromptu honorable mention. I forgot about that one.
Exactly, as well. Number 7. We got a call for war. It's War Assemble. I mean, if you want to talk about Slayer and their fast songs and their brutal songs, War Assemble is usually at arguably one of the peaks of that. Especially when the chorus is just call for war.
War
it's just brutal.
This is war, total war. With victory, it's really massacre. The final swing is not a drill. It's how many people I can kill.
Yeah. Number 6, Black Magic. not just for the song itself, for the raw production, but it's mostly here because of that memory that I have from 2017, when it felt like it was black magic. All the lights went out. People took out their cell phones and they started to
the Bray Wyatt buzzards came out that night.
And it wasn't even
Fire,
Bray Wyatt.
the fireflies, Michael.
The only thing missing was Tom Araya started to sing, "He's got the whole world in his hands."
Can somebody please make that mashup of "He's Got the Whole World" with Slayer, please?
Oh my lord.
But number 6, Black Magic. Number 5, it's my only tie here because I absolutely love these songs. Dead Skin Mask. They're more melodic, creepy song even at times, especially with in the chorus with "Dance with the Dead in My Dreams." Listen to their howl screams, and even with the girl at the very end. And number 5, and also in number 5, it's "South of Heaven." I promise that I stopped saying this, but for this once, I'm gonna break this rule. Yes, "South of Heaven," especially the riff, na 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 na. It's iconic. It's great. It's unforgettable. But once and for all, and as I said, this is the only time I'm gonna break that rule. Black Sabbath did first with Master of Reality, their last song, "Into the Void." It's the same fucking riff, played slower. I mean, Master of Reality is almost a proto doom metal album. But even when he says, "Induct to scene, meet your future somewhere in time," I mean, I don't know the lyrics, but before you see the light, you must die, and then he starts. I mean, it's amazing. Hell Awaits is my number 4. I don't need to say anything any more than it needs to be said about Hell Awaits.
Join us. Welcome.
Yeah. Number 3. Na 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 na. Raining Blood.
It almost makes me want to do that. Da na 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 na. Ha cha cha.
Yeah,
because that's what it sounds like when you guys do that. It sounds like it's almost bordering on ha cha cha.
But I mean, Raining Blood is brutal in every sense of the way, and I mean, one of my favorite parts is after the breakdown period, you hear "Raining Blood from a lasher in the sky, clean his heart. Create my structure, now I shall remain." And then it comes to that. What was it once called? That ludicrous speed. That ludicrous speed at the very end, only to end with a thunderbolt. It's amazing. Number 2, it's "Seasons in the Abyss." I mean, I love "Seasons in the Abyss." They're one of their most melodic songs ever. And especially with that whole video clip, which was, as you said, Slayer's first video clip in their careers, especially going to Egypt, filming all with the pyramids in the Nile, and even getting some of the tribesmen for those horse riding scenes. I'll be right back in a moment. And last but not least, my number 1. Exactly.
Scream for my Tom.
Sitting with. I mean, I love that break section part when he said, "Blady D out in a crime 2, sitting ways to achieve the Holocaust," and then Catectress, Liza, "Left to Die," Rafa, "Angel of Death," "Fly Free." I mean, Angel of Death. Despite the story behind it, Josef Mengele, the Holocaust, and all that stuff, I mean, it's brutal. It's unspeakably great. It's unspeakably great on how brutal one song can get, especially with the theme that it is. So to recap, Mandatory Suicide from 10 to 1. Mandatory Suicide, Behind the Crooked Cross, Disciple, War Assemble, Black Magic, South of Heaven, Dead Skin Mask Tie, Hell Awaits, Raining Blood, Seasons, Angel of Death.
And real quick, funny note from Donut Space, aka Chronix from YouTube, a good buddy of mine, said South of Heaven's actually sampled in the song Only One by Slipknot. I actually did not know that.
Neither.
But anyways, now it's time to piece together the final 10. I think we all know what number 1's going to be, Angel of Death. It was 3 number 1s and a number
Angel
2,
of Death.
so...
Yeah, Angel of Death.
So
So
Angel of
number
Death
2, you want to
goes...
give
Seasons in the Abyss, number 2.
Please say
Or
Raining Blood.
Raining
I would say
Raining
Raining
Blood.
Blood goes number 2.
Okay.
Alright, for number
Number 3,
3...
Dead Skin Mask or Hell Awaits.
Yeah, I'll go Hell Awaits, then Dead Skin Mask. I could go with that.
Hell Awaits, number 3. Number 4, Dead Skin Mask.
Hell Awaits, number 4, Dead.
Now the real work
Okay.
begins.
And number 5,
Seasons in the Abyss.
Seasons, yeah.
Seasons.
7, I would give that to War Ensemble, or 6 War Ensemble.
Or Disciple.
Wait.
Disciple
Lower.
would be lower on the
Disciple-
list, because I was the only one who
Hey.
didn't have
But
it, so.
number 6,
Um,
War Assemble.
How about South of Heaven? South of Heaven, number 6?
Yeah.
South of Heaven. South of Heaven. Oh, no. South of Heaven needs to be higher.
South of Heaven, let's put that at... okay, so we got Angel of Death, Raining Blood, Hell Awaits, Dead
Hell
Skin
Awaits.
Mask. I would put South of Heaven at 5.
How about Seasons in the Abyss with Dead Skin Masks just both on the same album?
Just like I did. Just like I did.
I mean, if everyone's okay with it.
Sure, why not?
Alright, let me just go back. Get it. Alright. Number 5 was number 4, Dead Skin Mask with Seasons in the Abyss.
And then 5, South of Heaven. 6,
Yeah.
6 I would
Black-
give that to
Black
Black
Magic.
Magic. Yeah, 6 I
So-
would give it to Black Magic. 7 I would give that to Mandatory Suicide.
Hey, whoa.
Wait.
It wasn't 6 War Assemble.
I mean, we're still. I don't know. I
War
mean,
Ensemble
okay,
6,
so-
then Black Magic.
So number 6, War Assemble.
Then Black
Number
Black
Magic.
Magic, number 7.
Black Magic.
Then
How about the
Mandatory
Antichrist?
Suicide.
Number 8, Mandatory Suicide.
Yeah. Now the final
Mandatory.
2.
Chemical Warfare.
I would go Chemical Warfare,
I'm
then Disciple. Even though
I'm
I
good
didn't
with-
have, even
I'm
though I
good with-
didn't have Disciple on my list, I can
Yeah,
live
but-
with it
but
being in the
all-
top 10.
But the rest of us, we had Disciple.
I mean, I
can
wouldn't
live
mind having
with it.
Disciple at number 10. I mean, come on, God Hates Us All. I mean, God Hates Us All. That's iconic Slayer.
Mm-hmm.
So number
But-
10, Disciple. I'm okay with Disciple number 10.
Yeah.
And number 9, what was it?
Chemical
Number-
Warfare.
Chemical Warfare. I was the only one that did not have Chemical Warfare on it, but
What
I don't
about?
mind.
I mean, what about the Antichrist?
Not quite there, honestly.
I mean, let's see
It's
what
close.
else.
It'd
Most
be,
of us
it'd be a
put-
close one. It'd be a close one to make it in, but not quite.
Yeah,
So let's see what
just
else.
like Haunting the Chapel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So right now we have number 1, Angel of Death. Number 2, Raining Blood. Number 3, Hell Awaits. Number 4,
Yep.
Dead Skin Mask with Seasons in the Abyss. Number 5, South of Heaven. Number 6,
War Ensemble.
War Assemble. Number 7, Black Magic. Number 8,
Mandatory Suicide.
Suicide. Number 9,
Yeah.
Chemical Warfare.
And
And
number
number
10,
10, Disciple.
Disciple.
Let's see. I mean, I'm okay with this.
I think
list.
that's a pretty damn good list right there.
All right. So everyone, go with it.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think which ones we might have missed that we had on our list, but
Let's see.
I think that
I think the
I think we
important
covered
ones
all
are
points.
there. The important ones should be on the list.
yeah, we covered most of the main ones.
And I like how it's basically my list, but one additional song.
With Disciple.
Yeah, with Disciple being
So
the odd
everyone,
one.
everyone, go with a list.
I think
now?
that's a perfect list right there. Honestly.
Big now, forever hold your peace.
Going once,
Going
going
once,
twice,
going
Going twice.
sold.
So
Oh,
Alright, so our final top 10 Slayer songs, starting from 10 to 1. At number 10, Disciple from the album God Hates Us All. 9, Chemical Warfare from the Haunting the Chapel EP. 8, Mandatory Suicide from South of Heaven. 7, Black Magic from Show No Mercy. 6, War Ensemble from Seasons in the Abyss. 5, South of Heaven from South of Heaven. 4, Dead Skin Mask and Seasons in the Abyss from Seasons in the Abyss. 3, Hell Awaits from Hell Awaits. 2, Raining Blood from Rain and Blood. And number 1, Angel of Death from Rain and Blood. How fitting, the top 2 songs from Rain and Blood. How fitting.
Although Raining Blood has a lot of great songs. I mean,
absolutely.
Altar of Sacrifice, Necrophobic,
Jesus
Postmortem.
Saves, Epidemic, Reborn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so many you could have put on there. But the album that I think got the most representation was Seasons in the Abyss. 3 songs.
South of Heaven, too.
Wait. Oh my god.
What?
Never mind. Brain fart.
I mean,
Again?
how many? I mean, how many songs we have there from South of Heaven? South of Heaven, Mandatory Suicide.
2.
2. So we got 2 from South of Heaven, 2 from Rain and Blood, 1 from Show No Mercy, 1 from Hell Awaits, 1 from Haunting the Chapel, 1 from God Hates Us All, and 3 from Seasons in the Abyss.
I mean, I know that most people shit on South of Heaven and Seasons in the Abyss, but come on. I mean, as much as we love brutal and fast Slayer,
slow Slayer's just as powerful.
I mean, it's the same with Judas Priest and Turbo. I still think it's a great album.
Oh man, that's gonna be a pain in the ass.
When we get in a couple weeks when we do Priest songs, the opinions are gonna come in a lot more slowly.
I'm gonna.
This is the
I'm
one
going.
we're gonna go butthead crazy on.
Holy
yes.
shit.
And I will not budge on 2 songs. Hellion Electric Eye, at least.
But since we still got plenty of time in the show, if anybody has questions, we'll hang around for a little bit, for like maybe 10, 15 more minutes. Since that was a pretty short episode, about 90 minutes. But
I like the love
and
song.
that we did not butt too much heads.
I mean, we haven't.
Yeah, we pretty much agreed with this one. I thought this was going to be difficult, but it was fairly easy for the most part.
Judas Priest will be more difficult.
Yeah, Judas Priest hands down going to be a lot more difficult.
Because I know we butted heads when we were doing what was the one that
Maiden?
we butted? No,
90s albums.
When we did the debut albums, that was the one we butted heads a lot.
Yeah, because there are just so many. There were just
and the 90s as well.
Yeah, the
80s. The 80s will be
the 80s. Boy. That one, oh god! Especially if we could get Pop Off on that episode. Oh my lord!
I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, Pop Off's gonna choose.
And at least Hannah and I will have. And at least Hannah and I will have a bit of German representation there.
Oh, I will
of
too.
the 7 Keys, anyone?
I'll have some German.
No, actually not.
I mean, the
what?
80s. The 80s.
I'm alone on the keeper.
What?
I know the one. I know the one that Hannah's gonna have, and I might have it on my list when we do that too.
Yes, I know it. I mean,
Walls of Jericho. Walls of Jericho. No, I know.
I mean, y'all know which one I'm gonna have at the top. Just saying.
Hey,
and you know which one's gonna be my number 1.
Yeah.
You know that for sure.
All that I can say is, oh, Abigail, I'm waiting for you.
Oh, man.
But we already got a couple of questions. Scott asks, pick a band and a Slayer song for them to cover. And he picked the best fucking one, and I wanted to say it. Cannibal Corpse covering Dead Skin Mask.
Oh, son of a bitch.
That's the best combo right there, and I wanted to say that, but you took the words right out of my mouth, Scott.
Give me...
I have one.
Alright, go ahead.
I have one. Dark Funeral covering Altar of Sacrifice.
They did do a good cover of Dead Skin Mask themselves, but yeah, I think they do a good job with Altar of Sacrifice. I gotta think... And then the others have already been done, like Decapitated did Mandatory Suicide, Monstrosity did Angel of Death, and it was great. What the hell?
How about... Here's one. This is an odd one. Behemoth covering Angel of Death.
Ooh.
I was also thinking about
Okay.
Behemoth, but I actually thought about Dead Skin Mask instead of Angel of Death.
I got one. I got another one. Candlemass covering Seasons in the Abyss, making it even more doomier.
Oh, that'd be like a 10-minute song then, if that were the case. But I would love it. I would love it. I mean, hell, The Haunted covered Well of Souls, but made it faster. So it'd be kind of funny to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Here's gonna be a weird one. This is gonna be a weird one. It would have to require for a certain drummer to do more kick drums. Metallica doing the title track, Show No Mercy.
Forget about it. Forget it.
Or no, better off. Actually, wait. Hold on. No. Metallica covering Metal Storm, Face the Slayer, because all they'd have to do is play the Creeping Death riff at the beginning. And it wouldn't be so difficult for Lars to play, so there you go.
Hey,
I
Ricky,
love Lars. I love Lars, but you need to get more on the kick drums, please.
What about Behemoth doing Disciple?
Oh,
That'd be fitting. That would be very fitting.
Oh, I think Nergal will be sued again.
Especially right now with what's going on with Nergal.
Oh,
If you see the article right now.
The Polish government. First, they are banning abortions, and now this religious shit. Crazy. What's going on?
And yet they have more blasphemy on Andrew Zakowski's The Witcher than anything else, and yet The Witcher is okay.
Yeah, but the Polish government certainly isn't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like any others. Well, if Death was still around, I would have loved to have heard them do a recorded version of Black Magic. They did it live, and it was great in '93 on the Individual Thought Patterns tour.
How about Megadeth covering the Antichrist?
Nah. Forget it. No way.
He got it.
Oh my god. That was a good one.
Now I know why. Now I know why.
Oh, that was a good one.
Dave Born Again Christian Mustaine.
Yep, hence why he doesn't play The Conjuring live ever again. Oh god, that was a good one. Oh, my knee actually hurt a little bit. Ooh.
Again.
Oh, I about cried.
But it was spot on. It was spot on.
I'm still thinking of others too. Let's see.
Okay. If Corson was still alive,
he would have done the Antichrist for sure.
He would have done. If
On the
Corson
three,
was-
on the black metal 3, I don't see Antichrist cover being on Octagon and Requiem, on the original 3, the self-title, the Return, and Under the Sign of the Black Mark,
and even Blood, Fire, Death as well.
I was gonna say put Angel of Death on Blood, Fire, Death.
I want to hear King Diamond doing Angel of Death.
To hear him do the scream.
Oh
my god!
Oh,
he would pull it off.
Damn.
He would pull it off easily. Yeah, he would pull it off.
Or Candlemass. Or Candlemass with
making it a slow down Angel of Death.
Seasons.
You don't want. Seasons of the Abyss by Swallow the Sun. Even though Swallow the Sun has done hear me out. Here's what I'm gonna say it. Since this is a bit of a more slower, doomy song, Swallow the Sun on their debut album, they covered Solitude by Candlemass. And it was completely different. So that's what I'm saying.
Sorry.
The slowest song of their career, Seasons of the Abyss by Swallow the Sun. I mean, okay.
We were focusing. I mean, we were focusing so much on Angel of Death, but Candlemass could also cover South of Heaven.
Mm-hmm. They could.
Now, who will cover Angel of Death? besides King Diamond. Somebody has to have that high. You know what?
Candlemass.
Judas Priest.
Give Judas Priest. I was gonna say, give me Priest.
Oh, actually, wait. I just thought of.
Attic, the heirs of King Diamond, Attic.
I actually just thought of a band who could have done Angel of Death because he does a similar. Because the vocalist does a similar scream on a couple songs on an album. Sarcophago doing Angel of Death.
Oh,
because there's a few songs on the Laws of Scourge album where Wagner does a Tom Araya scream, and it's spot on perfect.
Scott?
And the production fits in with Rain and Blood, like it's produced just like that. And yeah, I could have seen Sarcophago do Angel of Death, and it wouldn't feel wrong.
Scott, I will agree. War doing Rain and Blood, as it actually rains blood on the crowd.
Yeah, Scott brought that up. Yes, yeah, Gwar doing raining blood and making it rain blood.
How about our favorite...
No, not Gwar. Hannah knows what I'm going to talk about. Watain doing raining blood with blood on the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Watain, that's a band I haven't thought of.
I'm trying to think of another band.
Watain can pull off Raining Blood, Angel of Death. They can pull off Mandatory Suicide.
Altar of Sacrifice, War Assemble.
I just thought of another one.
Abbess, what would he cover?
Nah. Abbess, I don't see him.
I just thought of one. Morbid Angel covering Hell Awaits.
Oh, fit like a glove.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna sound redundant. Deicide doing Disciple.
Oh my god.
That would be so redundant, though.
Or you know what?
I want to see Cattle Decapitation doing Angel of Death.
Ooh,
that would be cool.
Travis Ryan could do it.
Okay.
He could do the scream.
Okay. Here's something I just thought of. What if 6 Feet Under covers Diablos?
Oh boy.
And you want to know this? You want to know the funny thing? My dude Chronix Donut Space in the chat. He's a 6 Feet Under guy, and he said that they did do Ditto Head.
Oh, not bad.
So just the thought of that. I'm just thinking, 6 Feet Under covering Diablos in Musica when they did Back in Black, which is the worst album in my history. I'm just thinking.
Moving on.
Thinking, what could possibly go wrong?
Right. Anyways, I had another one in my head.
Limp Bizkit should cover something from Slayer.
No.
Oh God. Oh man.
What about Rammstein? If Rammstein would cover a Slayer song.
Nah.
No, it wouldn't fit them. I mean, they could Dead Skin Mask.
No.
Nah.
Oh boy. Oh God. Oh no.
Say it.
Oh
Say
no. No.
What?
Oh, no.
What?
Hannah's gonna get pissed when she hears that.
Oh no.
Avantasia.
Ghost covering Seasons. Oh no. Oh boy. I think I know why he did that, just to get a reaction out of her.
Hey, Ricky, I want a Spanish version of one of the Slayer songs. Juanes.
Scott's like, that was the reaction I thought I would get.
Or Fake Tushka.
Just like you got my reaction from Dia's side.
Yeah.
How about
Fake Tushka should do Disciple.
No, Fake Tushka shoot Diablos. Give him the worst album.
Levi, I remember. Asphyx covering War Assemble.
They could do that. That fits perfectly like a glove. That's a good one. Brownie points to you. But moving on to man, we spent so much time on that one question. We need more, but we got another one from Chronix. From Chronix. Would we be down for a remix or a remaster of Hellwaits? I would say yeah, only to make it a little louder. Not a remix, but a remaster. Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't mind as long as they don't like, you know,
I'm not against
do
it.
everything wrong with the mixing.
I'm not against it at all.
As long as they don't add anything unlike the remastered edition of Blizzard of Oz when they took all of
just crank it to 11. Just crank it to 11.
Yeah, just crank it in the volume. That's all you need to do. Mm-hmm. Or if it is going to be remastered, don't do it like how Megadeth did the remasters. I hate the drums on the remastered Megadeth albums.
All right.
That's the reason. Like, some people may ask, why don't I have very many Megadeth albums, yet they're my third favorite band of all time? Simple. I want the original recordings, not the remastered garbage with the terrible drums. I want the original recordings, and they're hard to find.
Sometimes
I was lucky to find
some
Peace Sells, Rest in Peace, and Countdown to Extinction's original albums. I need to get the rest.
I have some of those. I have some of those remasters. My biggest peeve with some of those remasters, it's not so much the drums. It's some of the other songs. I mean, some of the remixes that they have there. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Kronk just said the remaster of As the Palace is Burned by Lamb of God was great. Yeah, I would say so.
So Chronix, now you're here. If you were to come to the show, what would be your band of choice?
Yeah, because Chronix, I've been friends with him. I've been friends with him for almost a decade.
Or Subject.
Massive
Subject.
I already know one band he would want to come in for, and that's Cannibal Corpse. Because that's one of his faves.
I'm out.
I mean,
if it's Cannibal Corpse, I'm gone. Or, as Cartman would say, "Screengage, I'm going home. Screengage,
I'm going to be homeschooled."
Honestly, I would. If we were to do Bastard, I would just love it because I can quote Razor Fist all the time. Because that's one of my favorite.
And prepare yourselves. And prepare yourselves for the John Schaefer rant that he posted.
Yes.
If you get a chance to see it.
I need to watch it, because, yeah.
So, if everyone watching right now, get yourself some ice syrup before they go up in price. Just saying.
I've been doing that.
Oh, and let's hope that YouTube doesn't censor us for this.
Nah. I mean, we're not saying anything bad.
Nah.
Nah.
But, man. Just a little Reader's Digest. John Schaefer did nothing wrong. End of story.
Moving on.
Anyways. But yeah, for a remaster of Hellwaits, absolutely. Remix, it depends. Like, if the bass was a little bit more prominent, which it's pretty prominent to begin with, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Kronk said Lamb of God or Cannibal Corpse would be good ones for him.
I'm not really too familiar with Lamb of God, but I'm gonna give it a shot.
I've never been into Lamb of God either. I mean, I like some of their songs, like Walk With Me in Hell. I like, which one? Laid to Rest. But I've got sick of Redneck, and it's mostly because of what I told you. That, I mean, when I was at that club, when I was at that rock club, there were at least 5 songs that the guys would overplay, and I was sick of it. System of a Down's Chop Suey, Lamb of God's Redneck, Machine Head's Burn My Eyes. What was the other one? Linkin Park. I got sick of Linkin Park because of that. And Slipknot's Wait and Bleeds. Mm-hmm. I was so sick of hearing those songs. And once I tried to ask the DJ I asked twice the DJ to try to put up some other songs, and one of them he just said he couldn't. And when I got with him on Facebook, he said to me that it was the stuff that would bring in the crowd, and I was going, Are you crazy? I mean, there are some songs that, there are some songs that are, of course, everyone will go there to listen, but they are better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Man, I feel like out of the four of us,
Number 9.
Number 8.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I feel like out of the four of us, I'm the big Lamb of God expert out of the four of us, because I do have 3 of their albums. Ashes of the Wake, Sacrament, and 7 Sturm und Drang. And I think out of those 3, Sturm und Drang is far superior than anything they've ever done, in my opinion, because... Especially because you get Randy doing clean vocals for the first time on the song Overlord, and that's such a great song.
Sturm
No,
und
that's-
Drang.
Yeah. I try and put too much emphasis on it.
Who would be the Amon Amarth expert here if we did a show about Amon Amarth?
We just got the title for Spider-Man 3.
Oh, what's it called?
What?
Spider-Man No Way Home, coming on Christmas Day.
That's kind of fitting with the story. Yeah, it's coming out Christmas this year. Yeah, I do know that.
No Way Home on theaters this Christmas.
Oh, and I hope that they make the new Mortal Kombat movie a good one.
Oh my god, it's so good!
I've not seen that trailer yet. I keep hearing about it though.
It's so good, especially
but a bit non-canonic, because it wasn't. Hey, WB, it wasn't Sub-Zero that broke Jax's arms. It was Ermac, not Sub-Zero.
Well, I know, but they want to like freaking change it up, which I'm like, okay.
And here's the stupidest thing I've heard from an American journal piece. Jezebel, from what I hear, where's Chun-Li in a Mortal Kombat movie?
Oh,
I'm going.
And you know what else I want?
I'm going.
You know what else I want to have happen? They're getting ready to make a new Spawn movie eventually. With Jamie Foxx playing Spawn.
It's long overdue.
It's long overdue for that. The one thing I hope, even though it's probably not going to happen now, Dark Saga be the soundtrack for the movie. Why didn't you use it for the first movie in '98?
It's more like
Todd
McFarlane.
McFarlane.
It's more likely. To me, it's more likely that To Tame a Land by Iron Maiden will be included in the Dune 2021 movie than I start in a new Spawn.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Unless things start getting sorted out eventually, which I think it will. I'll just leave it at that.
Move on.
But yeah, that's that for you. Well, I guess that's a good way to wrap up this episode. So this was we got more interaction out of the chat this time around. Thank yous, Chronix and Scott. Hopefully you'll be back next time, because next time it's the milestone episode 50, Judas Priest songs.
Judas Priest.
That's gonna be difficult because we're all gonna have oddball picks. I am gonna assume. I'm going to.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to too.
But then there will be some that will be obvious, so it's gonna be quite interesting. But before we go,
at least Painkiller.
Yeah. But before we go, I'm putting up a raid for a good buddy of mine and Daniel DK's The Walking Deadpan, who's live right now on Twitch. But until next time for the podcast in a couple weeks, but I will be back on live on Twitch later today, probably about 5 p.m. But until then, horns high, and we'll see you in what comes next.
See ya.